So not long ago, I did a video that was all about the tips and tricks that I use for Apple Keynote. You remember this? Maybe you've seen it before. Maybe we've done a video or two about it. Remember whenever I was like, hey, there's this really cool trick that I use of using like transparent objects to do animation. And we put it out there, and life was good, and everybody loved it. And then in the comments, people were like, you know what, Steve, that's great, but you forgot to show us how to do it. And I thought, we need to fix that. So what did I do? I did another video to be able to say, okay, great, now we can use Photoshop and we can use Keynote, and then we can come up with those transparent objects. And once again, life was good. But then other people reached out and they're like, look, that's great, but what do we do if we don't have Photoshop? And I'm not gonna lie, I might have needed a minute to be able to process what did it mean that I was gonna need to do another video about transparency and how to make these objects. What the why? But it was okay. I got over it, calmed down, took a breath, and realized this is something that I need to be able to teach. So hopefully, look, I'm getting this together. This is the first time we're doing these videos, so hopefully this will now be the definitive, the trinity, the perfect version of no matter what tool you have, no matter what it is you're doing, you can figure out how to make transparent objects. And today, what we're gonna be able to do is to show you instant alpha. And this is going to be how you can make transparent objects 100% inside of Keynote. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Crazy One. As always, I'm your host, Steve Gates, and this is the YouTube channel and podcast where we talk about how to be more creative, how to be a better leader, how to learn applications like Keynote, and a whole lot more. So as always, look, if you like these videos, if you find this stuff helpful, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell so you get the latest videos whenever those come out. Now today, that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna be able to give you another great trick about Keynote, and this is using instant alpha. And this was a feature that was released probably not too long ago, but I think it's one that most people probably don't know is there. They aren't quite sure how to use it, and so that's what I want to be able to show you how to do is just like the last video where we created that transparency we did in Photoshop. This way, what we're going to be able to do is to do the exact same thing, but we're going to do all of it 100% inside of Keynote so you can make those effects without needing any other programs. Alrighty, here we are back once again inside of Keynote. So let's just go in, let's pick just a blank theme, because again, the theme's not gonna matter for this. But what we wanna be able to do, so just go in, make this blank slate. Now remember, to be able to get that little effect, we needed to have those 5 different little areas for the bar chart. So again, we can just go through, make those real quick. Know that there's a square area at the bottom, circle at the top. And again, we can cheat, make sure they're the same size. Whenever we drag it out, look for the little yellow arrows. Those match. Use the dots on the side to make sure we get it right into the middle. Drag it over so that it matches. Drag it down. So here again, do the exact same thing. Cool. Okay. So now what we have is one of these. Group it. Let's make 5 of them real quick. Oh, grab one too many, get rid of that, go through, do that, make sure that they are spread out and that they are aligned to the middle, not the center, to the middle. It works so much better whenever you actually do it that way. Middle, all right, and then they are distributed horizontally. Perfect, okay, great. Okay, so if you've watched any other videos, this is what we did before. Now what we want to do is be able to do something different. Now the step here is going to be the same because this is the mask that I want to create. But the thing is that what we want to be able to do is to use this right here, this instant alpha, which if you remember, just right click, go to customize toolbar, right there. Okay, whenever this flies out, it's going to be right here. So again, you may have no idea what that is, why is that there, but what we're going to do is take that, drag that up. And the thing is, so right now, if we go through and select this, Instant Alpha doesn't light up because all that Instant Alpha does is this works on images. So what I need to be able to do is to make this into an image. The objects that are here in Keynote aren't going to work. So that's easy enough. Just go to Export, Images. In this case, there's only one slide, so we'll just do all of that. Do high quality because we want the edges to be smooth. export that. Let's see, we'll put it on the desktop. We'll just call it mask. Away that it goes. So now, whenever I move this over, you'll see it creates this folder called mask. So if you're looking just for the file, it always creates a folder. Go in there. Ta-da! Okay, now we have a JPEG. Cool. So let's actually go back into Keynote. Let's make a new slide. So let's do a blank one. And let's change the background to red or something that's going to pop out. Great. Okay, now, so this is going to be our mask. Drag it in. It'll show up and automatically center. Now, what we want to be able to do to create the transparency is to knock out these black areas. Well, now, lo and behold, as you can see right there, now this instant alpha is lit up. So what happens is if I do this and click on it, you'll see, click a color to make it transparent or drag to make similar colors transparent. Now let's look at, and so let's zoom in here. Let's look at what this means. So if I just single click once, okay, you see how it went out and grabbed all of that? But if you really look, the problem is there are these little sort of like funky edges right there. That's a problem because now that isn't very clean. If I put something behind it, it's not going to look very good. So the difference is instead of clicking once, if I click and drag, you see how it gets that little circle, but also if you watch that edge, you see how that edge suddenly cleans itself up? That's what you're going to want to be able to do, is to drag that out there, because now look how nice and clean that is. Right now I've got this perfectly crisp little edge around the whole thing. And here, let's do a side by side. So see, whenever I click, you can see there's that little bit of dirt there. It's not quite right. So that's what I'm going to do, is click and drag, nice and clean, click and drag, nice and clean, click and drag, click and drag. Okay, now whenever I'm done with this, all I have to do is to just be able to hit done, and great, now there it is. This is the object, the same way that we've been trying to get to. So again, I can move this around. It has all the transparency there. Just to prove it, let's pull an object in, make it cut across this whole thing. Great, put that, send that to the back. Now again, you can see. So this is done 100% inside of it, and it's this instant alpha that's going to be able to do it. So again, whenever you do it, make sure that you click and drag with that, because that drag is going to pick up other colors. Now again, you can do this with photos and other different things like that to be able to do the mask. But for me, these simple geometric shapes are going to be the best. But that's just all you have to be able to do. Make the object. So do this. Remember, go in, hit export, just export the image, drag it back in, hit it with the instant alpha. Great. Now you've got it done 100% inside a Keynote. So as usual, that was it. It was just that simple. I think once you know how to find it, get it out of that customization menu, be able to build the object, export it, or bring it back in, and then again, just use that simple feature of not just click, but click and drag. Those are all those little tips. They're going to be able to get you those transparent objects, and just like before, you can go and do a lot of really cool stuff with it. Hopefully that helps. Sort of quick and simple and easy. But as always, if you like this stuff, if you find it useful, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell, because you're going to be getting more of these videos whenever those come out. And like I said, let me know if this helps, or if there's other techniques or other plugins or things like that. Like, don't get me wrong, if there are, that's great. You make the video, because at this point I feel like I've sort of done enough about transparency, but who knows, maybe I'll be convinced to do yet another one. But I said, ideally, we'll be moving on to other content other than the transparency series as we go along. But look, I think, you can also check out the podcast. Go to thecrazyone.com. I've got over 100 episodes talking about creativity, leadership, all sorts of different things that hopefully are going to be able to be helpful. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. And remember, stay crazy.